Hey, I am Dr. Jenn. I'm really glad to have you in the den with Dr. Jenn. All right, our topics today. What is fascinating and important to know about BDSM? And find out what the most common sex-related search terms are online. Stay tuned for some juiciness. All right, our guest today, we have Dr. Neil Cannon, who is a couples counselor and sex therapist in Denver, Colorado. Yay. Yay for Denver, too. He is certified through ASECT and is a board-certified sexologist. Dr. Neil is on faculty at Denver Family Institute and the co-host of the Sex and Intimacy Show, a popular international speaker and a favorite guest on television and radio. Yay, really glad to have you.
Thanks.
And I'm excited about the topic we have here because I know you've done research in BDSM before. So I want to know, like, first of all, just share with the audience what that is exactly for folks that might not know, and then some of what you've learned in your research that was most fascinating.
Well, BDSM is bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, sadism and masochism. And what we've learned in our research is that this subculture is so interesting. And there's this viewpoint, I think, in our culture that maybe there's some pathology with people that are into those things, into whips and chains.
Yeah.
But what we found in the research is it's just not true. As a group, people that are into BDSM are just as healthy as people, the general population.
Fascinating.
Yeah. The other big thing we learned, and this was a great research team. It was me.
Wow.
But it was Dr. Charles Mosier, who's one of the leading sex researchers in the world.
Wow.
It was Dr. David Mirich, who's a licensed psychologist in Denver. And it was Carol Lauzo, who's a great statistician. So we had this great team.
Nice.
And one of the other things we found was that the intelligence level with people that practice BDSM, self-described BDSM practitioners, was 10 standard deviation points higher than the general population.
All right, how do you explain that?
I think it's really simple to explain. I think it's really simple to explain. Anybody can screw.
And most do.
And right, if you really think about it, anybody can have intercourse. But when you think about BDSM, it's a really complex role play, and it's really rich with fantasy and scripts, and it's almost like theater. And so it takes so you got to be a little smarter than the average bear to play that game.
So tell us a little bit more about that, though. Tell us a little more details of what folks are doing with the scripts and the detailed theater aspect.
Well, I think a big part of it is the power dynamic, power exchange, if you will.
Yeah.
And so it's that time where you get to be, the master of the boardroom gets to submit in the bedroom. It's that kind of play, and then you have people that are into pain and sensations. That's different, and that's, I think, another great lesson is that what BDSM represents for one person is not going to be the same for the other person.
Okay.
So just because somebody says they're into BDSM, or we think about that, the expression is so different for each person.
Okay, so there's kind of a big picture definition, but really how it plays out is really individual to each person's needs and desires. And okay, what you said, the pathology aspect was most misunderstood. Anything else that you feel like is misunderstood?
Well, we've got the pathology, we've got the intelligence. I think the fact that rage and violence for a lot of people comes up, and they think, oh, this is a woman who wants to be violated. This is about violence.
Right.
But it's not. It's between consenting adults, and in my book, if it's between consenting adults, it's all good. And so what we find with this population of people is that the communication is really good between couples because they're negotiating, right? We want to do this. They'll have the entire list of this is okay, this is not okay. So there's great communication. That's the other thing I see in my because 75% of my work as a couples as a counselor is with couples.
Right.
And so that's one of the things I see a lot is my BDSM couples. Boy, they communicate. If all my couples communicated as good
Right.
as my BDSM couples,
But that makes so much sense because so much of sexuality out there is unspoken, and we're afraid to talk about it. But right, if you're going to go into the realm of BDSM, you better make sure you're being clear, and so you need to have those skills and develop more of those really good communication skills.
Right.
So that's excellent.
In a master-slave relationship, there might be a 50-page contract between the master and the slave.
Oh, no kidding. Fascinating. Okay, why do you think it's important to talk about this?
Because I think what happens is in our culture, it's really easy to say that if we don't understand it, there must be something wrong with it.
Especially around sex.
Yeah, but 10 to 15% of Americans have participated in some form of sadomasochism.
Which is like millions.
Oh, yeah, right? Sure.
That's awesome. All right, any final thoughts you want to throw in about this you think is important for folks to know?
I think that, well, not really.
Covers it all? Nice. Well, awesome. Thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. I love your sense of humor. So if you want to find Neil online, you can go to drcannon.com.